Let's inspect the brake condition we got going on right here. We're looking at this brake rotor. You see this outside edge has a long ridge of rust. It looks like, and I know this car, but this is what happens when you let the brakes sit and weather hit it for a long time because this is constantly being refreshed, this metal, and it's bare, it's bare, crisp metal just waiting to get rust on it. And if you don't continually keep this clean by brushing it off, by driving it with the brake pads, the rust will accumulate and get thicker, and it'll get pitting, and then the pitting turns into lines and grooves, and then it'll just give you brake noise. And I mean, that's the biggest. It's not really that big of a deal, honestly, but it'll reduce your braking performance and give you noise. I don't necessarily know how much it will actually reduce your braking performance. It might not. Someone that thinks they're an expert can tell me in the comments. But what we're really looking at is the brake pads. First off, you can glance through them and take a look at, see this part right here, that's the metal backing plate. The material is this part past that backing plate. And if you have one of these fancy brake pad tools where it has these, I bet you we're right here at 3 millimeter. And if you stick this in here, see that? That's our material on the pad, is just under 3 millimeter. So definitely 3 millimeters already in the red. Technically, at the dealership, they would start suggesting to replace them at 5, but this is pretty close. I mean, and they start out at about, I don't know, 9 to 12. We have a little bit of uneven brake wear on this one. You see we're thicker on this one. On this back pad, we're more of we're real thick. Right there. See that? So the brake rotor's right here. So on that inside pad, we're 6 millimeter. So we got twice as much inside pad as outside pad. That's actually rare. Most of the time you'll have more inside pad wear than outside pad wear, just because the nature of the piston is back here pushing this pad first, and then this is a slide caliper. You don't have a piston on either side. So we have uneven brake wear we need to address there. It typically happens either in the slide pins or in the caliper itself is seized. But typically it's the slide pins, because I haven't needed to replace any of these actual calipers yet. We'll take a look at the other side real quick. So far it's looking very similar over here. Looks like we're probably going to be at the 3 millimeter over here as well. Now, does the inside pad have 6 still? We do have a brake pad sensor on this side. I think we're probably going to pull out the old 6 millimeter and see if that's, yep. You see that? You don't need to get, it's same thing on this side. So, I'm not extremely concerned about it now that it's the same on both sides. It might just have something to do with the thing been sitting for, I mean, I'm making excuses, but I'm just going to check the slide pins, and I'm going to oil up the slide pins, and I'm going to suspect that the calipers are fine, but the very process of changing the brake pads will tell me how restricted they are. We'll get there in a second. So here's all it takes. You just got a little window in here, and if you can get the right pry bar with the right, typically I just use a flathead screwdriver, but this one's not going to work. It's going to be just a little bit too bulky to grab onto the lip. Maybe not. I'll make it work. I'm changing out that brake pad sensor anyway, but if I wasn't, I could carefully take it out, and now there's a little clip left in there. It might not be a bad idea just to go ahead and carefully take that out anyway, because you might break the new one. So now let's see if we can get enough in here to get this caliper moving. Smacked the ground, but luckily nothing's broken. If I broke a phone doing YouTube videos, it would financially destroy me. And that's no joke. Did I already mention that this wasn't really the best tool for this? A flathead screwdriver would fit in there better in this application because this one's a little bit bulky, but third time's the charm, I like to say. So let's see if... okay, we're grabbing the screwdriver. One that has a little bit of girth to it, but not one that's not so long that it obstructs you, like I said. And what did I do? I went and got me one that was too long ago. Well, if the wheel's turned, then you can get in there. Let's just try the tiny screwdriver. That typically works most of the time. You stick it way in here. And you just slowly put some even pressure on it. And it's pushing that piston back in. And you can feel when it stops. It stopped right there. So now let's see if these slide pins are any good. And the slide pins feel pretty stiff, so we're gonna lube those up. With two 13 millimeters in the back here, those get these long slide pin bolts out. Someone really cranked that on there. And then we got another one down here on the bottom section. Where is it? These bolts out here, one at the bottom, and then with the caliper already compressed. It shouldn't take that much, but we got some seize situation here, so we gotta seize the moment. This screwdriver again, and then what we like to do is we like to take this caliper right here and flop it over the top there. Now remember our electrical connector here. Since we saved it, we can just keep this. This might not be advisable. Some people would say, now it's brittle, it's gonna break, but I already inspected it. It's in good shape. I caught it before it. I'm gonna just go ahead and reuse that. I got the clip for it right here. You can't forget the clip. Let's pop these brake pads out. You'll see the thickness difference. It's just because these slide pins are seized up. So how we fix this is we take a pair of pliers. Our piston is pushed all the way back. Oh, look at that. Our pliers, are they gonna fit? They sure will, because they're Nipex. And then we're gonna take the Nipex pliers here and apply them for the next job, like so. And then you simply go like this. And then you see there's a little bit of dry grease on there. That grease is just dried up, and that's what's causing that uneven brake pad wear. So you know how we're gonna fix that? We're just gonna take this right here, and we're just gonna ram jam some fresh grease, but plenty of it, because some's gonna come out. You know, fill that thing all the way up, and then you're just gonna push your thumb over the end of it and push it back into place. Just like that. Some of it went in the middle of the hole, but a lot of it went where it was supposed to go. Then you push it back and forth, and you see how easy it is compared to this one over here that I haven't done that with yet. It's still a little bit stiff. Now just moving it back and forth works some of the grease back in it, because it's not able to work itself back and forth. But it's just a good practice. It doesn't take but a second to put some fresh grease in it, because remember, this is brakes. They get real hot. So that grease naturally dries out, loses its greasiness, turns into just chalkiness. All right, this is glued on with this little backing plate, so you have to tap that off with a hammer or the Nipex pliers. See, they're also a hammer. Now we take this caliper bracket off, remove the rotor, load the pads, put it all back together. I got a video already showing all that stuff. Go watch that.